Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and today we're going to be reviewing One Piece Manga Chapter 1187, The Root of the Problem. I'm Akainu Fanboy, the other guy's Geboss. Please like, subscribe, leave your comments below, thoughts on the chapter, thoughts on our review. So we have a cover story right here, which corresponds pretty well with the chapter and the chapter title, The Root of the Problem. Without getting too much into it, obviously there's going to be something that's going to be holding back Sanji to becoming a conqueror or accessing his King's Haki. And we have the title, The Root of the Problem, and we look here and we get this cover story showing the people who abused him the most, which was his family.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you got it pretty spot on. And it's kind of nice that Oda's doing this because sometimes his cover stories don't relate to exactly what's going on in the chapter, but this one kind of lined up nicely.
Contrary to what people may think, he cares about Sanji a lot, and he he really wants to develop his character here. I know we're gonna get more deep into it later, but this just reminds me a lot of the animated rendition of his fight with Queen in Wano. And he breaks the helmet and everything like that, and you have that huge statue of Judge and everything. So that's just what I think a lot of kind of when I see this and the chapter and kind of the trauma that's there and him breaking free. And I think what's really beautiful about Sanji's character is that his growth is not just simply whatever power growth, but his character growth is directly corresponds with his physical growth.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so anyways, so continuing here, we see Emu, and he's fighting Loki, and we kind of see something pretty interesting here. Just like Loki takes a good amount of damage from Luffy, I would say. Would you say the same thing?
Oh, you mean from Emu?
Sorry. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Luffy had giving a good amount of damage to Loki. Emu. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Loki seems to take a lot of damage from Emu's attacks already. So seeing this again is it's a lot. Just stabbing him through the chest and everything, and I keep seeing these these little flame things that Emu's spitting out, and it keeps reminding me of Big Mom's powers because they're talking and everything.
And more importantly, Moria.
Yeah, Moria's going to be the key.
He is. Just watch, But do you think Luffy got a good hit on him?
Yeah, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like it's too terribly effective, even though it looks like it's a Conqueror's Haki punch, because we see the black streaks and everything. So
I will say, for the record, Luffy did more damage than Emu, and actually he's not even in Gear 4. He's base Luffy right now.
Yeah.
Compared to Gear 4 Luffy against Kizaru.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the fact that Kizaru is so fast that he couldn't land a hit on him.
Power. So going to the next section. I need multiple agendas this chapter. I'm too greedy. One agenda is not good enough for me. But when you get to we have the whole Gunko thing, and
this was low-key one of my favorite comedy bits from the last at least year, because Brooke and Frankie try to feel if the block is cold, and they can't tell because neither of them have skin to feel sensations. And
Oda really thinks about his characters in that way. That's really cool, that detail,
Yeah, and Nami thinks that it could potentially be made of diamonds, and we get her character thing, and it's just funny. It's just these nice little interactions between the Straw Hats.
It's good characterization, and it's the more you think about it, that flashback wasn't too much of a diversion, and I think it builds up well. it leads to more stakes, and you're kind of more emotionally invested in the Gunko and Brook and everything. So I think it's pretty well done. And then, yeah, you see Loki just flying in too. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is all flowing well. It's not super chaotic like a Dressrosa type of thing. It's pretty well put together at this point in time. You know? And moving on to like, yeah, so like we see Emu and Luffy clashing a bit. And then, I don't know, I always find this kind of interesting here. This is kind of more agenda piece a little bit too. When we see Zoro and Summers talk. So would you put Summers as like the number 2, whatever, of the God's Knights out of this group? Or would you say that's more Killingham?
I would think it would be Gunko. That would be number 2.
Okay, yeah.
But in terms of like Summers getting pitted up against Zoro, I don't know. It seems kind of weird. Because, I mean...
Like, it makes sense with the Rayleigh thing, right?
Yeah. But, like, Rayleigh, like, one-shotted him. Like, back in the day. And...
Yeah.
And Zoro, it just seems like Summers would be a perfect opponent for Sanji. Like, character-wise, compared to Zoro. But, I don't know. We'll see what'll happen with this.
Yeah, they really want to stick with, I guess, the Rayleigh Scopper parallels to that degree, I guess, you know. But would you say Killingham is stronger or weaker than Summers? Because I've always kind of thought Killingham was stronger, just because I guess Summers has just been embarrassed over and over again, you know.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think they're pretty comparable, but I mean, in terms of what Killingham can do, like with bringing dreams into reality and everything, it just seems like he's more impressive like that. But I mean, at the same time, Summers has like thorns that can't be penetrated and everything, so it's just in terms of like Summers has less impressive powers, so seeing him being put up against Zoro, it's kind of feeling like, oh, this is Zoro's opponent, because usually Zoro has like pretty flashy opponents.
He doesn't really fight the gag opponents usually too. So that's like Sanji will like fight Queen, for example, and then Zoro will get King.
Yeah,
you know,
or I don't know. Zoro fought Kaku, but
yeah, that's kind of one.
Yeah.
Well, and then Hachi, he fought Hachi too, and maybe this kind of might be a better parallel with the Arlong thing, where Sanji fought the number 2, basically back in Arlong. And I know like both of these guys are not strictly speaking the number 2, but I think at the very least we could say they're pretty equal in power, you know? So I kind of find that interesting, just the matchups in that sense, because it's just kind of breaking the mode where Zoro usually clearly fights the number 1. The number 2, but that doesn't seem to be the case in this instance, you know?
Yeah, that's true. But I do like the thing where Zoro's like, he's placing trust in Sanji, like he knows that he's gonna get his job done. He said, oh, that guy of yours isn't coming back because he's gonna be dead. So do
you think that's not the first time in the series he's done that?
I don't know. I think he's always had some sort of trust in Sanji's abilities, because I'm thinking back to like Eni's lobby. He left him in charge of fighting Jabra and everything, and there was one of the One Piece movies where Zoro fought a foot like a kicking specialist, and Sanji fought a swordsman. And at the end of both of them, they both basically say, oh, I know a guy that is much better than you in that respect. So I think they've always had some sort of respect. It's just that it's not emphasized as much. But seeing as we're getting toward the end of the series, I think that some of that's going to come out more.
Yeah, I think it might actually be good character development, which we haven't seen in Zoro in a long time, you know?
Yeah.
And I like that a lot. It's more than just him being the the cold badass. It's like, no, like he actually cares about his crew, you know, like, which it's good to see. And when you get to the village part over here, yeah, we still see like this. Shoot, what was the name of the entity for this like rain creature?
Wasn't it Zaza?
Yes. Yeah. So Zaza's going crazy. The Giants are freaking out, and then you know, we just see Scopper's family just freaking out, crying. So it's kind of like a repeat. Again, it's a little bit rehashed. You know, we get the emotional thing again. You know, but it is nice to see Sanji come in to save the day. You know, and Sanji. So we see the chapter. You're the root of the problem here. You know, but obviously there could be a double meaning to this. You know, and this is where we basically get a really cool revelation of, hey, you can use mocking him, you can use the color of the Supreme King. And this is where we get into kind of the flashback to the Scopper Sanji exchange and things like that too. So, which is kind of interesting, yeah, because we didn't see immediately them talking afterwards. So it was cool going back to that. And I was going back then, like, I think if you were to look back what I said back then, it was a tease, basically. So, but, you know, I'll take the W. I've been correct. I mean, you know, I've been vindicated on this point. I've been saying it for a very, very long time that Sanji is conquerors, and I never understood the arguments against Sanji having conquerors. Like, it never made sense to me why he wouldn't, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've always agreed with you on that point, but I actually haven't heard a lot of the arguments against it. They're probably just like Zoro fanboys, probably, but I do like the Scopper thing. You must be a king too if you want to make Luffy the king.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And it ties back into Sanji's character thing as Mr. Prince and everything, evolving from prince to king, so that's pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah, and I guess so we would talk about the negative aspect of kind of the Fishman Island Sanji, where it was just like over the top, everybody hated it. But if you saw that as not just like a writing error, but genuine growth from Sanji, you kind of go from that to climbing, well, going back even further to the time skip where he's stuck on you know, not the island with Ivankov, and it's like, okay, he doesn't even look particularly impressive there too, while Zoro's with Mihawk, you know. So Sanji's just like slowly climbing. He has like a really good moment with Viola and everything, you know, and he kind of takes over the crew and Dressrosa, so that's all good. And then Zoe, you see a lot of good moments there too, where he sacrifices himself. And then obviously we get the whole cake where you have like a lot of dramatic increases where he has to be forced to deal with his trauma, and we find out his true identity, and everything kind of comes full circle for him, and it's really beautiful. And then, as I kind of said with Wano, like, you know, with his fight in Queen, especially in the anime, you see he's literally fighting all of his brothers in the form of Judge. In the form of Queen, you know, and he's fighting them all at once. But and one thing I forgot in Whole Cake, he redeemed his brothers where they actually saved him too, you know. And Egghead, we just kind of see the exoskeleton continue and the eyebrow switch, so you kind of see this weird new form slowly manifesting. But you see like the cool badass Sanji again. He's not really as much a perv. He's more of a gentleman. He gets a good hit on Saturn. He gets a good hit on Kizaru. So really respectable stuff. And now we get here, very minimal pervy stuff too, for the most part, and he's doing a lot of really cool heroic stuff again. It's like the old Sanji, but so that's kind of the leading up to this. Do you have any thoughts on anything I just said right there?
Honestly, I was just thinking back, I completely forgot about the exoskeleton thing, like with the eyebrows. Like it was brought up like at the beginning of Egghead, and we haven't seen like really any of it since. So I wonder if that's going to come into play at all. But I don't know if that's going to be just like a drop thing. But
I don't think so. I do think like his physical growth corresponds directly with his character growth, you know, and I I guess one question I ask, since I just described all that growth there, what is the thing holding him back now? Because we already see him get rescued by his family. He tells Judge, kind of like walks away from Judge, when Luffy defends him, because like Judge like has a meltdown, like, what do you see in Luffy, and then he apologizes to Luffy, so like what could be that growth,
Yeah. So the the translation for the official one's kind of wonky, but in the unofficial one it said that you seem to be burdened with painful uncertainty. So if we go off of that, like what would he be uncertain about? I don't know if it's still relating back to the Germa stuff, like a feeling of inferiority or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. What about you?
I think since he dealt with, saying apologizing to Luffy, his brothers rescued him. He kind of like told off his dad without even saying anything. He rescued his family, and then he defeated his family in a fight by fighting Judge. I'm sorry, Queen. Why did I keep on saying that?
Mm-hmm.
I think the last thing for oh yeah, and then shoot, I forgot in Wano there was the whole thing like, I don't like the suit, but then the suit literally became a part of him,
Mm-hmm.
I think he has to full on accept that he's a Germa.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am Vinsmoke Sanji. Also, he didn't want his name to be on the wanted poster too, right? I think he has to 100% accept that part of him, and that is not a negative thing, because that's gonna unlock his kingly thing, because he has a lot of pride, like the whole thing with Big Mom and all that, and like, I'm just gonna sacrifice myself. You guys go without me. I'll take care of this myself. He has to kill the pride of his hatred for his lineage, basically. Because Luffy embraces it and Zoro embraces it. So I think that's the last thing that has to go, because some people will say, oh, what's he... I think this was one of the dumb arguments. What's Sanji the king of? It's pretty easy. Germa. That's what he's the king of. And my theory is that at the end of the series, he's going to make his kingdom on the All Blue and make it a restaurant, basically. With the Germa beds. But, yeah, so what are your thoughts on that? Like, just what I've laid out there.
No, that all makes sense. That tracks with his character. But one thing I will say is that I thought he kind of got over the certain the one weakness with in terms of pride and everything, like in Wano, because he had Robin asking Robin for help when he was bound up by Black Maria.
Yeah. So that would be pride in reference to like the woman crew thing and all that stuff, right? I think this is more the pride of actually loving or accepting his family lineage fully, basically.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I think I love Oda about how he does this, because for me I was like, okay, why does he just unlock King Hatake? Because he's getting so embarrassed in Wano, with the Black Maria thing in there, like kind of make him bounce back. But I think with Oda, it's just a long, drawn-out process of character growth for Sanji. So I do think, because he's had a lot of impressive feats in Egghead, and Wano too, but he doesn't make it one-on-one with power. And I'm sorry, this is why I think part of the reason I like Sanji more. I think when Sanji activates Conqueror's Haki, it's going to be a lot more impactful than when Zoro did.
I mean, I'm trying to remember the exact moment that we knew that Zoro had Conquerors. Was it during Wano?
Yeah, it was when he was fighting Kaido, I believe, right?
Oh yeah, that's when he activated that. So that was more like a hype moment, but I
Yeah.
always enjoyed, like, you brought up the Queen fight a bunch. Like, that for me was a lot more engaging than the Zoro fight for me, because while the Zoro fight was better animated, had good choreography. I mean, Sanji's had good choreography too, but there was just so much more of the character stuff with Sanji compared to Zoro. We still don't know what the King of Hell is.
Yeah, sure.
And the whole thing with the Grim Reaper is unresolved so far. So unless they're gonna pay it off somehow here, like he's gonna lose to Summers and somehow unlock that ability again, or I don't know. It's just kind of
weird. Yeah, because with the Kaido fight, it was just like flashy flash. You know, like you could say like, oh, but he has Enma, and that corresponds with Odin, and he's the new Odin. But like, okay, in what character sense was Zoro like Odin, minus the sword? It just wasn't there, you know. Because I'm sorry, like Zoro doesn't have much of a character post time skip, you know. It's just like in terms of development or a distinct personality, like he did pre-time skip, you know.
In terms of character growth.
Yeah, and with Sanji, like it sucks for Zoro because all this family lineage stuff, it's SBS, and then Sanji gets a whole arc, and that arc won't go away. It just keeps on coming back in the story over and over again. So people that hated Whole Cake, it's like, well, that kind of sucks. Because Oda keeps on bringing back Whole Cake into the story, you know. And I think like that's what's really cool about Sanji's character, though. It's just like a 1-for-1, and I mean I think that's part of the issue. You and I were having a harder time to think about Zoro unlocking it. It was just more of kind of like a flashy fight thing. But I think with Sanji, it's going to be insanely memorable because it's going to be a part of his character, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it was a cool moment for Zoro's character, but there was just this is just me complaining about Wano again. There was just so many things in Wano that happened that, like, such a big character moment, like the Zoro unlocking Conqueror's Haki, kind of got pushed to the wayside in my memory. Compared to like Elbaf here, where we can kind of clearly structure out everything.
I'm gonna be toxic for the Zoro fans. Sorry, guys. I didn't prep this. I'm not looking at Wikipedia, I swear. I could think of so many different Conqueror's Haki moments that were more memorable to me than Zoro's. Luffy's, obviously. That kind of goes without. That was just a really thing that you just picture it. You know, Boa Hancock and everything. Ace 2, where he's rescuing Luffy. Very memorable, very traumatic moment. Dofi in his flashback as a kid, where he's chained up there, like, oh my gosh, like that really sticks with you like a lot. Even Don Chinchao, I'm sorry, I'm not joking. Don Chinchao, when we first see him use it, when he knocks out the Coliseum and he's clashing with Luffy, that was way cooler. And there's that Diamante's like, that's like a Clash of Kings right there. Yeah, you know. Like, there's so many way cooler Cog Kings hockey moments than I think Zoro's, to be honest, you know, that stuck with me a lot more. And I think Sanji's is going to be one of the ones that sticks out with me the most. Just how Oda handles stuff. But do you think Zoro and Sanji will be equal in power after this? I've heard some people say that in the community. Like, it's going to be pretty clear, or like very hard to distinguish who's stronger than the other after this.
I think so. I mean, I think they were kind of like that, kind of already. I mean, just in terms of the potential, but once Sanji's potential is unlocked, I think there's going to be less room for debate. Yeah.
And okay, that makes sense. And then I have another question. Do you think the admirals are more likely to have Conqueror's Haki after this chapter?
I mean, it's always a possibility. I don't want to put it down 100%. The one that would probably have it the most would probably be Akainu.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that was interesting was that like when Scopper was, or when Sanji was asking Scopper, Scopper said that he had the potential for it. So I guess there are people who have that latent ability in them. I don't know what exactly the characteristics would be for that, but like Scopper could identify it, but he just needs to push. He just needs to get that final push to actually activate it, which I don't know if, because the whole thing with Conquerors is that you have to be born with it and that it's rare. But I guess we're at the point in the series where what was it? All the strongest people are rising toward the top.
Yeah.
So we're going to be getting more instances of it. So I guess it would make more sense that Sanji would have it now when we're getting to this point in the story, but just that potential line. I don't want it to be like, oh, well, technically everyone has potential for it. Like they have potential for the other kinds, but I don't want it to be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm gonna put this out there to my deep regrets. I think there's more of a chance Yamato joins the crew after this now.
No.
Yeah. Because now that Sanji has this, you can clearly say that Sanji's above her now.
I don't know.
I guess the only issue is Jinbei gets knocked out of the, the commander position at that point. That's kind of the issue with that.
I don't know. I think that honestly, the only, like, I can see Yamato being part of the Grand Fleet, but not like as a main crew member.
Yeah.
The only one that I could potentially see joining would be Vivi once they encounter her again.
Yeah.
Because she's basically already one, and I think it's just a matter of time. Because in terms of like going back, like Yamato would either have to leave Wano, which doesn't seem like she's going to. She's dealing with Momo and everything. And then the other possibility would have been Carrot, but Carrot's now part of she's now the Queen of Zou, so that's not going to be. She's not going to be joining anytime soon, and it's about moving forward rather than backwards.
Yeah, and I think my issue is just the power. That's a good point. And my issue with it is the power dynamic too. If like someone like Loki joins, for example, like it just messes with the monster trio, and I think that was one of the strongest arguments against Yamato joining at that time. But I think now it's just like, okay, like Scopper says, you guys are like at the top of the chain now. You're the supreme hockey guys. So
yeah.
Honestly, yeah, with Sanji and his like weak defense too, like I don't know, it's so cool. Like Sanji was struggling against Virgo, he breaks his leg, he's getting hurt all the time, and he's not fast enough, as Niji would say. But then all those upgrades came back, and he may or may not have the invisible power too. Still,
yeah,
that's up there, and now he has King's Hockey, and I think that's really cool. Like the upgrades, I guess we would see with Zoro as Enma, but that's it really. We don't really see him grow in the same way that Sanji has. So it was kind of annoying and frustrating being a Sanji fan for a while, but now it's like kind of really paying off after all these years, and I'm all here for it.
Yeah, it's long-term investment.
So true. So any closing thoughts? I know we kind of covered a lot of good ground, but
I mean, we get the final tease with Emu versus Luffy. Do you think that this is gonna be a kind of a washed fight, or What do you think? Do you think Luffy's gonna perform well? And also,
Yeah.
I was just reviewing the thing. Where did Luffy get his regular shirt? Because he was wearing his Elbaf suit. And then
it comes like when the admirals, will burn off their coats and then they come back.
Sure.
It doesn't make sense. It's like that.
Yeah, that was the only thing I was like, wait, he shouldn't be wearing that. But yeah, I'm interested to see where this fight's gonna go. It seems like there's not going to be a definitive conclusion. That's what I think. But I don't know. I think Luffy's going to be put on the back foot.
Sure. Do you think it's going to be a Kaido versus Luffy round 1 type of scenario, or do you think it's going to be more balanced?
Oh, not round 1. I think it's good. Yeah, he's not getting one shot or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're building this up. Like, this is a whole title card thing.
Yeah. That's a good point. Sorry, one last Sanji point though, where he says a king, you possess that ability, and then it cuts immediately to Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
That it just made me think back at the Wano thing where Sanji woke up and he noticed when Luffy went into Gear 5,
mm-hmm.
and that there might be a special relationship going on there. I forget the connection between Sanji's uniqueness and Joy Boy, because we find out about Sanji's lineage and close in proximity to the same arc when we find out about Joy Boy and everything like that too. I believe that was kind of the running theory of why the unique connection between Joy Boy and Sanji, right?
I think so. I'd have to
Go back
read
on
up
that.
on it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well, please like and subscribe, everyone. Comment below, leave your thoughts, and we will talk to you guys soon. Peace.
See ya.